Hello? Mic check? Welcome back. Hello, hello. All right. Let's go. Tenemos 5 minutos. We got 5 minutes. And then we'll get started. Cuénteme. Entonces, ¿cuánto tiempo ha vivido en Freehold?
Llevo 31 años.
31 años. Y ahora está apoyando a la comunidad.
Sí, ya está, trabajo con la compañía de Herbalife.
Herbalife, ok, tremendo.
Tenemos un plan de nutrición.
Sí,
Trabajamos con la comunidad.
sí, porque de eso vamos a hablar, un poco de nutrición, un poco de cómo todo eso impacta lo que es la salud en general. Qué bueno, está muy bueno. Así podemos ir a hablar a su grupo de personas y que entiendan por qué es tan importante nutrirse bien.
Claro que sí.
Es Victoria, ¿verdad? Victoria. Ok. Vamos a empezar en 2 minutitos. What are your expectations of this?
I don't know. I've never done this before, you know?
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Wait, I'll take one too. Do you have another?
Muy bien. Nuestra misión es tu nutrición. Fantástico. We're good? So I'm really excited about this particular, para el niño o para mí. Oh, gracias. This is a supplement. Very good. Thank you. Para tomármelo en el agua, me imagino. Estoy entusiasmada, esa es la energía que tengo. Oh, the clicker. I'm like, something's missing. Okay. No, you left it off. Yes, you were good. You're good. Let's see. Left, right. Okay. We're good? Hello. Sí. Puede tomar fotos. Es para distribuir a la comunidad. Sí, para que se vayan educando. The workshop is in English, but I will be translating los dos idiomas, English and Spanish. So if you let me know we're ready to... Hello, how are you all? My name is Angie Jean Bart. I am so excited to be here at Brookdale Community College here at Freehold. This is our second workshop, and we are going to talk about energizing your life and how exercise, nutrition, sleep, and emotional health can boost your energy. You see, when you have your mental health in place, because wherever your mind flows, your body goes, then the physical changes are consequential. Now, what is energy? See, here's where I'm going to have people participate, right? What is energy? ¿Qué es la energía? I'm going to start pointing. ¿Qué es la energía? What is energy? ¿Qué es la energía?
Energía del cuerpo.
Okay, so energía, body energy. ¿Qué es? What is energy? Have you ever asked yourself, what is energy? Because, you know, a lot of people out there look for energy, like a pre-workout energy drink to like, oh. But what is energy really? ¿Qué es la energía? How do we get it? Yes. Vitality, force. Yes, vitality, definitely, right? Being vivacious, being energetic. What else do you think is energy? Where do we get energy from?
I would say calories.
Calories, so basically our nutrition, our food intake, right? But not all calories make you feel energetic. Have you ever gone through the itis, like in Thanksgiving, you're like, oh my gosh, you just want to go to sleep? So you basically depleted your energy. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm basically going to speak as to how these things work. So within the context of physical and mental vitality. So physically, right, there are 5 nutrients. When we talk about nutrition, there's your carbs, right, your protein, right? There's your fats, and then there's your vitamins and minerals, right? Now, the three nutrients that we get energy from is what? Your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, right? So physically, we can derive nutrients or energy from these complex compounds, right? Now, what factors contribute to low energy? What do we have here? Poor sleep, right? Because some of us, when I was in college, it was like I was part of the team no sleep, pull all-nighters, do as much work as you can, and then keep moving forward. Grab an energy drink, right? I see you have a hoodie with a Monster drink, Monster, whatever, Red Bull, whatever you use, right? Because you're basically depleting your energy sources by not sleeping. Now we have sedentary lifestyle, so not being active adds to your low energy levels, inadequate nutrition, and chronic stress. Now, what I want to emphasize today is an approach to energy management that addresses things like exercise, nutrition, sleep, and emotional well-being. So we're going to take this is just general concept. This is not going to be something that you're going to take home and prescribe to yourself a solution to be energized the whole time. But it is a template for you to learn what's important as you move forward. Because right now, I'm 39 years old. But when I was 18, 19, 20, if I would have known these things, maybe I would have made different choices. Because there were times so I'm an entrepreneur as well. So in business, we thrive with being productive, being energized. We got to be in it, right? And the quickest thing for me to do back in the day was to get a 5-hour energy drink and go to my meetings. Horrible. And then I would crash. So I am telling you that you are speaking to someone that idolized energy, but not the right way, right? So I'm telling you, okay, so now here we are talking about energy, talking about how to live a life that's full of vitality. Now, and I'm going to also share with you that this doesn't come from someone that was healthy her whole life. I was born with something called hemangiomas, and it's a genetic disease, right? It basically creates a blockage in the veins, or it builds up a benign tumor that I have to go through a lot of surgeries. So my upbringing was very sad in the sense that I was self-conscious as to things growing and things getting surgically removed. Entonces, cuando crecí, eran las cosas, no era saludable, no nací saludable, nací con algo que se llama hemangiomas, que requiere, da unos tumores en las venas varicosas, en las venas que se tienen que remover cirúrgicamente por una cirugía. Entonces, I came to value health because I didn't have it. Do you understand? So now that's why I nerd out on these things. And I'm going to pass out some books that I'm going to basically disclose that I use as references in this workshop. So exercise for energy. Physical activity can increase energy levels by what? Improving your circulation, boosting your mood, and reducing your fatigue. So it's kind of counterproductive, right? You're like, oh, exercise, you would think it makes you more tired. It's actually the opposite. Exercise, right, is going to reduce fatigue. Right here. What kind of exercise is going to boost your, hi, how are you? What kind of exercise is going to elevate your energy? We have aerobic exercise. We have strength training, mind-body practices like yoga, tai chi. Those are some of the most effective. Now, when you say aerobic, my advice is to look for something that you particularly like. If there's a sport, if there's a hobby that you absolutely enjoy, then that's going to prove to be the one that you're going to sustain over time. Another thing, planning and incorporating into your daily routine activities that are personally enjoyable. So now, raise your hand, right? Do you currently sustain an exercise routine for yourself, right? For those that, yes? And after you're done exercising, how does that make you feel? Right? And I'm going to tell you why. There's actually neuroscience behind all of this. There's a science to all of this. A lot of times when we don't understand why we are doing the things we are doing, we may be behaving in ways that are more reactive than responsive. Did you know that exercise helps us find happiness? And this is going to introduce a book. There's a book floating around that has a pink cover, right? And it names The Joy of Movement. this is basically going into why exercise helps us find happiness, hope, connection, and courage. So that's the book right there. So if you have it right there, so she was a student, right? And all she wanted to do was to become a group fitness instructor when she was younger. And then she went to become a doctor, right, going into the neuroscience of exercising. Now look at this. When it comes to exercise, exercise can influence your brain function, because we're going to talk about here what? Mood regulation. We're going to talk about stress management. We're going to talk about all the things that exercise can do to actually help you feel energized, right? So here, when it comes to the brain function, what does exercise do to our brain? It increases blood flow to the brain, which delivers oxygen and nutrients essential for optimal brain health. Now you're like, this is general. Okay, we know this, right? So ask yourself, when I'm learning these things, last time when we spoke about, right, going from a victim to someone that's victorious, there was an acronym that I talked about. Some of the things that you're going to learn today, you're going to need to apply to yourself, right? It's ACT, act. Apply, you're either going to need to change or you're going to need to teach to someone, so share with someone. So I want to give you that frame of mind. As you're listening to this, think about it. Exercise stimulates the release of neurotrophic factor. Now, that's known with the acronym BDNF. Why is this so important? Remember, I'm talking about what's going on in your inside as we exercise. This actually promotes growth of new neurons and enhances synaptic plasticity, improving cognitive function, memory, and learning. Now, there's another book that I'm showing. It's a thick, thick book, right? The key here, right, when we talk about energy, when we talk about how to live a better life, some of us, right, are young, and we think, okay, we may have a long life to live. But in the lifespan that we have with chronic diseases being up the roof, right? With obesity being a challenge, right? With all these things, there's a difference between, listen to me, lifespan and health span. Did you understand? Hay una diferencia entre lo que es la vida en sí, cuántos años tenemos de vida y cuánto tiempo de esa vida estamos saludables, ¿verdad? Because what happens, we may live a long life, but that the later years of that life may not be quality of life because you are struggling with diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, all these other things. So now, the health industry, right, thrives in people getting sick. There's no money going out there to prevent illnesses because with the health industry, a health insurance can only pay if there's a diagnosis. You have a question? Okay. So when there's workshops like this and people like myself, it's really to let people know and lead people to prevent, right, illnesses from coming on. Because right now, right, a lot of people need to go to an annual checkup, right? Now tell me, have you done blood work this year as an annual checkup to know? So now you did your blood work, right? That's the only way you get to find out. Your physician will tell you exactly what you need because trying to prescribe a certain exercise routine, trying to prescribe a certain diet to follow, because nowadays there's so many diets out there, trying to prescribe all these things is not really possible. However, when you get to find out more of yourself and your physician tells you, you know what? For example, when I went to my last checkup, they said, Angie, you know, your iron level is low. Angie, your vitamin D, because remember, we're in Jersey. There's not much sun, right? And we need, so they prescribe me vitamin D, right? Which I take every day, my supplements, because some of the things that we can get from the sun, because we live in a country that sometimes the sun doesn't come out and we don't go out ourselves, then we're being depleted out of these essential vitamins and nutrients. Now look at this. So now think about it. If you value having your mind where it is and you don't want to destroy that with time, we want to be able to kind of partner up and enjoy what is exercise. Now, when it comes to mood regulation, exercise triggers the release of endorphins. Are we familiar with endorphins? Yes, right? Neurotransmitters that act like painkillers and mood elevators. So you know when you say, I did that workout and I feel like so good? That's basically what's happening, right? So a lot of times in one of the books, right, they talk about how a lot of the mood disorders that we are struggling with currently, anxiety, depression, right, we can actually regulate those, right, in addition to what your doctor tells you, because I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist, I'm not a scientist, nothing, right? Because you were talking about life coaching from last time, right? We're talking about getting ideas and getting strategies so you can make decisions for yourself as to what your future gonna look like. Now look at this. The endorphins promote the feeling of euphoria and well-being, which is why this lady wrote this book, The Joy of Movement. Exercise increases the production of serotonin. Do you know that nowadays, if you go to the pharmacy, you see serotonin gummies? What is serotonin used for? To induce what? Relaxation, to go to sleep, right? We actually produce all of that through exercising, right? We got dopamine, we got norepinephrine, which aid in alleviating symptoms such as anxiety and depression. So some of us might be, or I'm challenging you to evaluate your current state of mind. Because a lot of times your current state of mind is the result of what you've been doing. Have you been moving around? Have you been sitting around, right? Or what you're taking into your body, and also what you're putting in your mind. You know, there's a saying that says you are what you eat. Literally, that's basically what we're going to talk about. So now, exercise being used as stress management. So when we talk about stress management, I don't know, have any of you enjoyed a certain sport or anything? So doing something that, even gardening, even just taking a brisk walk will give you the result of what? Relieving your stress. What happens nowadays? If you're in college, you have stress from what? The classes, the teachers, the tasks. If you are a parent, right? We're parents, some parents right here. You feel stressed in general. Now, I just became a certified personal trainer. I am a body combat instructor. I am a Zumba instructor. I became a personal trainer recently. And the professor and the doctor that certified me, he was like, what is healthy? What does healthy mean? And the response he gave me, I was like, wow, I never really thought about it. He said healthy is the response, your response to any given stress. So when you are healthy, you're better able to cope with life stress. So stress and demands is part of life. And when a person is healthy, they're able to cope with all of this. Now here, regular exercise improves resilience to stress over time, making it easy to cope with life's challenges. Exercise promotes relaxation, reduces muscle tension, and clears your mind. We're okay with this so far? Now, the other book, right? The next topic that we're going to briefly touch on is nutrition for energy. See, this is not something where I'm going to give you one thing or another, like you should eat that or you should eat this or that. You see, there's very little research done into what nutrition really does. There's people that sell things to tell you you should keto diet, paleo diet, this, that. 50,000 things out there. It doesn't mean they're all wrong or right, but your body, when you are aware of your body and the things that you consume, right, you will start recognizing that some things that you may eat are not going to make you feel good, right? For example, some people are allergic to gluten. They may have lived their whole life eating macaroni and cheese per se, right? And then they're not feeling well, they get cramps. Sometimes, we have to figure out for ourselves what are some of the combinations of food that our body responds to best. Now, with that in mind, let's go into this other topic. Nutrition for energy, and the book that I'm referring to is The Mind-Gut Connection. There's actually a workshop today by a doctor talking about this very thing in Marlboro today at 6:30. Now, nutrition plays an important role in fueling our body and sustaining our energy levels throughout the day. Choosing nutrient-dense foods that support energy production, such as what? Whole grains, right? Lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats. Now, how does nutrition affect our brain? Now, there are certain nutrients, such as omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oils, antioxidants found in fruits and vegetables, which support our cognitive function and memory. Now, when you go out there, I don't know about you all, when we have this knowledge as to what nutrients are found in what foods, the choices we make when we go out there are more simpler, right or wrong? Now, what makes us go for the potato chips and not for the berries? What makes us, right? Because we're human, and the hardest thing is to be what? To have what? Discipline. Because we can know a lot of these things. A lot of us already know reading right is good. A lot of us already know that exercising is good. Why don't we do it consistently?
Yeah, for a while personally, I struggled working out regularly because of my schedule and between work and school and even chronic pain. I had wrist pain and neck pain and back pain and even depression I've dealt with. So I think a mix of everything got in the way of me going to the gym, even though I was really passionate about the gym. And yeah, I would say that's what stopped me personally.
That's okay. And so those were some of the challenges that you had, because a lot of us have some challenges that we have to overcome to make some ends meet, right? Now, given all of that, right, when we have certain knowledge already and we apply it to our lives, there's some consequences for the things that we actually do. There's consequences for the things that we don't do, and there's consequences for the things that we do. What I am encouraging all of us to do is to really become resourceful. This idea that somehow someone out there has the answer for your life is not true, right? Like something out there is going to change what you do with yourself. A lot of times it comes from what you have in your mind. Muchas de las veces tenemos que nosotros tener la mentalidad correcta para tomar las decisiones mejores. The other thing here, when we talk about an adequate intake of vitamins and minerals, what are some vitamins that are going to help us feel energized and elevate our mood? We have B vitamins, vitamin D, magnesium. These are essential vitamins to maintain brain health and prevent cognitive decline. So when I say cognitive decline, right, you're in school, right? For example, I have a 14-year-old. And sometimes if he doesn't sleep well, right, and he's hungry. You know hungry when you haven't eaten much and you get really, really easily upset? So keep in mind, when we are striving to have optimal health, to have as much energy as we ought to have, we really need to keep into consideration, right, everything that we are doing that's going to either take away or add to your energy. Now, raise your hand. How many of you like to feel like you got no energy to do anything? How many of you enjoy that feeling? You enjoy feeling down? You enjoy feeling like, okay, is it down like, is it a negative, or is it like, okay, I'm at peace, I just don't want to do anything. Now, is it because you have already so much to do that you value just not having anything to do? That's what it is? Okay. Let's go to the next one. So now when it comes to nutrition and mood regulation, so the food we eat impacts the mood and emotional well-being. That's what we've been talking about. Now, balanced meals, and I'm going into general things. Balanced meals such as complex carbohydrates, lean proteins, healthy fats, fiber, all of this helps regulate our blood sugar levels and provide a steady source of energy. Now, what happens when we don't do some of the things that we ought to do, consistently bringing in, for example, this morning, right, I wake up and I have a choice. I can either go quickly for a protein bar, like something that's processed, right, or I can choose to go for a fruit and let's say a yogurt. It's very easy to just open something, because now in the industry that we live in, it's very easy to go for whatever's already ready and processed, microwavable, right? How many of us have either ordered food out for the sake of, I don't have time, or have just eaten something for dinner that's already 3 minutes into the microwave. How many of us do that, right? Now, when we get used to, right, just quickly getting something, a lot of the things that are already processed are not really good for us, right? Because they spike our sugar level up so high. I'm going to tell you, I'm a fitness trainer, I do all this stuff, but when I went to my blood work, my sugar level was elevated, pre-diabetic. But I do everything that's healthy. Guess what? All these protein bars, these protein drinks, the supplements, all of that is processed. And when we talk about the mind and gut connection, we literally have, our stomach has its own brain. It communicates. Have you ever said, oh, I have a gut feeling? So it's actually attached to all of your emotions. When we don't feed our mind, for example, what is it that I started doing? Taking probiotics. Do any of you know what probiotics are? Vitamins, probiotics, that feeds your gut. So what I came to find out, and by reading the book, by going into workshops, so the reason I'm telling you this is because I have a younger brother, right, that is a cancer survivor, and he had what's called Crohn's disease, okay? And a lot of this stuff is not because he's not healthy, because he did the work. A lot of these things happen because we don't regulate our emotions. So a lot of our emotions, right, we feel it in our gut. So if we're sad, if we're stressed, you know how you have acid reflux if you're like stressed about something? Or some people that get nervous actually vomit, right? Because they get so nervous. So here, it's so important for us, if you get to take anything home, is that when we consume anything, the less processed it is, the more whole it looks, the way it came from nature, the better, right? To incorporate into our intake, rather than going for the easy, the protein shake, the bar, or even the candy bar. Let's try to put in the health, and then it becomes part of your daily habits. Now, why is that so important? Because, for example, at my age, I already have kids. I have 3 kids, and I noticed, right, that prior to this, I was, you know what, they're kids. Let's just get the chips. It's okay. Get all this stuff. And I wasn't as lineal as I am now. I came to find out that my kids were having problems with regulating their emotions. They were having a lot of tantrums. They were having a lot of, when you get that kid crying outrageously because for something very little. I came to find out that the things that I was feeding them wasn't really feeding their system. It was just a quick fix. Okay, you get a snack, you get a sugar rush, and then you keep wanting more, right? Because that's what the industry is doing. They're producing all this processed food to get you attached, right, to the system that we have in our brain, right? That any time we get rewarded for something, we get a dopamine release. And that's what happens with sugars. That's what happens with chips, with anything that quickly gets metabolized. Now, nutrients, right? Something else here. When we have things like turkey, right? Remember turkey for Thanksgiving? And if you like some people that I like ground turkey instead of beef, turkey is full of tryptophan and dairy. And also, if you eat, right, consistently, and I'm just saying this, turkey is full of tryptophan. Tryptophan is actually the precursor for serotonin, which is what helps us feel good, which helps us calm down, which helps us go to sleep. That's why in Thanksgiving you see a lot of people get very, very sleepy. It's because turkey is full of tryptophan. It releases all these neurotransmitters that help you relax, calm down. Now, another thing, you see a banana is yellow. If you combine turkey and banana, you're basically giving yourself a daily boost into your serotonin. You understand? So a lot of times when we're not mindful about our food intake, when we're not mindful about how this, with exercise and everything, we may be fighting against ourselves with having certain habits that don't add value to our life. Now here we go, nutrition and stress management. Now a healthy diet can help buffer the body's response to stress by improving essential nutrients that support the nervous system and adrenal glands. Food rich in antioxidants like berries, nuts, protect against oxidative stress and inflammation. Now, hydration. Now, do you know how much water we should take on a daily basis? Not just the general. Yes, go ahead. 12 ounces of water. So now, check this out. You've gotten on a scale. When was the last time any of you got on a scale? Okay, so if you've recently gone on a scale, if not today, you can go and check and evaluate, where you're at. Recognize where you're at. It's recommended to drink half your weight in ounces to be hydrated. Do you understand? So for example, I weighed 120 pounds, right? I get those 2 big bottles of 33 ounces, those big ones, and I make sure I finish 2 of those a day. Will you be going to the bathroom? Maybe, yes, if you're not used to drinking all that water, absolutely. But what does that mean? You're basically clearing your system. Your cognition, right? When it comes to hydration, right? You are releasing stress and tension just by being hydrated. I've come across clients that tell me, Angie, I just have this migraines, this headache. And they want me to train them. And I said, where are these headaches? Is it high blood pressure? Where is this coming from? Because I need to assess and evaluate where they're at to be able to take them to where they want to go. Come to find out, as soon as I tell them, listen, maybe cut a little on the caffeine, because caffeine is a diuretic. Drink half your weight in ounces of water, and long and behold, their headache goes away. They're no longer with all these migraines. So hydration is important. I hope that helped you out. Now, so this is an acronym. Take your meds, not your medication, because you may have to take medication for anything else that your doctor prescribes or your primary physician, and I'm not, you do that. But meds is for meditate or pray, right? Having a moment to actually meditate or pray is important. Exercise, your diet, your intake. When I say diet, it's your nutrition, what you put in your body. And sleep. All of this incorporated into having more energy. It's not just one or the other, right? When we are striving to improving, it's not going to be perfect. But when you're intentional about incorporating these habits into your life, then you're going to live a better, healthier, longer life. Not just a long life where you're full of diseases and having, to be labeled disabled because you cannot function without, insulin, without pills, without all these things, right? The key to this workshop is to prevent, right, us from getting ill as we live a long life. The key here is to elongate your health span along with your lifespan, right? Now, sleep. Like I told you at the beginning, in college, I was that one, no sleep. Team no sleep, pull all-nighters, wake up and take the energy drink if you have to go to a meeting or to another class, right? Not just one cup of coffee, multiple cups of coffee, the extra large Wawa coffee, whatever, you name it, right? Because we idolize energy, right? But we are trying to consume it in a very quick way, which is not sustainable. No sleep is not sustainable. Now, sleep plays a critical role in recharging and recovering our energy to feel a complete sense of vitality and well-being. Sleep quality and quantity are important for optimal energy levels, cognitive function, and mood regulation. So it's recommended, yes, 7, 8 hours of sleep. A lot of times, right, we don't have what's called sleep hygienes. So what does that mean? Just like we have self-care hygienes, we brush our teeth every day, we do a ritual. We need to have a system of sleep hygienes. And I'm going to go into what 3-2-1 means. Creating a restful sleep routine and an environment to promote deep restorative sleep. So what I do and what I've shared with JT, I'm like, I got the subliminals, the any sounds, waves, whatever it takes me to a point where I'm completely relaxed, because most of the recovery that our cells are going to have is going to be during sleep. It's not going to be while we're up and awake. We actually, by not sleeping, we're actually hurting ourselves because our body is not getting the time to recover from all the things that we did throughout the day. Now, when I talk about 3-2-1 sleep, it's 3 hours before you go to sleep, cut the intake of food. What happens is when we eat, right, and we go straight to sleep, you guys have classes now? When we eat and we go straight to sleep, our body works super hard and gets tired with digestion. So I tell my son, because teenagers, when we tell them, listen, don't eat after this time, during the evening, they wake up and they go grab whatever from the closet. And then in the morning, I'm like, come on, wake up, it's time to go to school. Oh, I'm so tired, Mom. And it's because he was up with his spicy Takis or whatever he was eating, right? Whatever he likes, and his body is just so tired from all the digestion. Now, when I talk about sleep, here's an acronym. Schedule your sleeping and self-care routine. Like, coming from a background where I didn't value sleep, this was one of the biggest challenges I had, to actually schedule my sleep. Meaning, I had to tell my family, listen, by 9 p.m., I'm done. The business is closed, meaning, Mom, I need this. Sweetie, I want this stuff. No, I needed to set some boundaries, right? To be able to continue, right, getting the sleep and the recovery that I needed to gain the energy that I needed to go through the day. L, let go and release what you cannot control. A lot of times we cannot consolidate our sleep because we're so worried. Estamos preocupados. A veces no podemos dormir porque estamos preocupados en el mañana, en el antes, en el después, and we don't focus on resting. E, eliminate electronic distractions. So just as a parent, I put my kids to sleep. So with this metaphor, I got to put my phone to sleep. I got to put my laptop to sleep. Because a lot of times and nowadays, we all engage in social media in the evening. That's as a matter of fact, when I've pulled very, very late nights of sleep, it's because I'm engaged doing a presentation or in social media, electronics. E, encounter your future self. So coming to create a life where it's optimal to your vision, in the evening as we are going to sleep, that's the best time to visualize. Esa es la mejor forma de visualizar nuestro futuro. Cuando digo encounter your future self, in the evening as you're about to go to sleep is exactly when we need to visualize our future self, right? Each of us, as humans, we have this need to actualize ourselves. So with envisioning in the evening who you are working on becoming, it's the best time. You will definitely get benefits from that. Pray or meditate for peace of mind. And that could be either yoga or just, silent moment. I respect all your beliefs, but having a moment to just recover and kind of align yourself with the universe or align yourself with your better self, it definitely pays off as a sleep practice. Now, emotional health and energy. Now, our emotional health impacts our energy levels. For example, when we feel depressed, do we have energy or the lack of? Right? No energy. Even the way we walk. When someone's energized, they walk pretty fast. When someone's depressed, the body language tells you exactly where a person's mindset is at. Our body is so intelligent. Like, we will know how you feel just by looking at our face muscles. Say more than you say with words. You can tell, right? You can tell exactly what's going on. Now, managing stress, cultivating positive emotions, nurturing social connections, right? This can boost your energy and resilience. Actually coming together, for example, if you have a workout buddy or you're part of a group, let's say you're part of a boot camp team or have you guys ever heard of Tough Mudders? So there's this, they have Spartans challenge, Tough Mudder challenge. These are fitness challenges that you go out there in the world and get through really in a team. So I participated in 2003 15 in a Tough Mudder. Now, this is basically challenges in the mud. It was like an English town. Like, you are drenched in mud, and you got to go through a lot of obstacles with a team. So what happens is when we have social connections, when we are working, even though it's hard to get through these challenges, a lot of these connections that we make by overcoming either physical, exercise challenges, it actually brings us together and breeds courage. Now, in the Joy of Movement, in that book, it talks about how there's actually a gym she talked about where the members felt like they were part of the family. And when one of the members' husband died, the members were the ones that went to her to actually help her through the tough times. Because with unity and community comes the courage to actually get through the tough times. Therefore, entonces cuando uno es parte de un equipo, por ejemplo, ser parte de un negocio, ser parte de algo, y uno entra en comunidad, nuestro nivel emocional por ser parte de una causa, de una misión, se eleva, porque dice, estoy trabajando con un motivo, por alguna razón. Now, emotional well-being can be enhanced with mindfulness, meditation, stress management techniques, healthy, supportive relationships. So when I say healthy, supportive relationships, that also means that some of the non-supportive relationships, the naysayers, the dream killers, the ones that are always, there are some people in your life that may constantly pull you down emotionally. Those are the people that you need to put some boundaries through. Because they're not adding value to your life and trying to negotiate your well-being, right? Because we're not responsible for someone else. We're responsible for who? For ourselves. Here, lifespan and health span. So this book, right, Outlive the Science and Art of Longevity. Here, right, we got to really focus on ourselves and ask ourselves, because it doesn't matter what I think about health, how I live my life, because that's not going to change what the decisions you make. So here you want to think about, if I'm looking forward to living a long life, right? Do I want this life to be a life where I am optimal, where I am with energy, where I am able to enjoy what life is bringing on? Or do I just want to continue toiling and struggling through life because I didn't make the right choices? So here, there's the reference. I did pass the books. Those are the 3 references that I used for this workshop. And now, each of us is light. Light, what? The sun is what? A source of energy, right? Because we have solar systems that basically power our house. And then here, when I talk about light, I talk about life is getting healed today. Everything that we put into our body, the things that we consume, the exercises that we do is geared towards healing and recovering. Each of us on a day-to-day basis is working towards repairing from waking up and facing life's challenges. Now, some of us that are mindless and just go through the day, just, sometimes not even eating. Some people don't eat until, oh my gosh, it's time to eat. And then when they do eat, it's something that's not good for you, that's not really helping you, right? With that in mind, guys, that is it for today. I am open to questions. If you have anything to say, I just hope that it was very, very general, right? Because exercise, nutrition is, how can I say, the market out there has made it a point to create a division. This is the best workout, or this is the best food, and then we're being sold, right? Not in making decisions for ourselves, but being sold in a certain brand because that looks like it's going to be good. And as a matter of fact, some of the things that are marketed as being healthy are some of the most horrible things you can put into your body, right? So if you don't have any more questions, I am personally done with describing. I just want to share with you one last thing, right? So, and I want to share with you this. A lot of times when we go through the things that we go through, right, and we don't make a point to start adding things into our life, adding habits and disciplines that is going to improve your life, we are automatically already dying. As soon as we are born, we are automatically going to die. Have you thought about that? We're not born to live longer. We're born because one day we're going to die for sure. That's guaranteed, right? So if we are already going against time, right, the best thing for us to do is to ask ourselves those key questions. Tenemos que preguntarnos, porque apenas nacemos, sabemos que nos vamos a morir, estamos yendo contra el tiempo, right? A lot of times, as an entrepreneur, I focus a lot on being productive. You know, as a student or a business major or whatever you are going to focus on these targets, goals, and all these things. Mind you, you can be a multimillionaire and have no health. When this person who has multi-millions of dollars has no health, all they wish they had was what? Their health, because no money in the world is going to bring them back that health. And that's what happens when people struggle with chronic diseases. You wish you would have done something. And you're on time now because coming across this kind of workshops gives us the ability to make better choices. I'm going to tell you something. When we exercise, there are the cells that are the powerhouses of our bodies. And if you have taken biology, if you have taken any of the stuff, you might know the mitochondria. Who knows about the mitochondria? It's a mighty little cell, right? Every time we work on strength training, so now we did the presentation, I'm going to tell you the strength training that we do. Why is it so important to strength train? And I'm going to tell you the chronological order. A lot of time people want to come into a place where they're like, you know what, quiero perder peso. I want to lose some weight. Y empiezan a correr, you know, like a lab rat on the treadmill, not going anywhere, just running, right? However, yes, this is going to help you, but the reality, what I came to find out, is that when we don't strength train and keep muscle mass throughout our longevity, because when we are in our 50s, 60s, the first thing that goes is muscle mass. That actually holds up your bones. That actually gives you stability. The main reason a lot of elderly people die is because they tripped, broke a hip, and then they couldn't recover soon enough. You understand? They might have been healthy their whole life, and suddenly, because they don't have enough muscle mass, they start withering away, and that they basically go really, really quick. So from what I learned, right, in exercise science, it's better si es que va a hacer algún programa de ejercicios, if you're going to do a fitness program or a personal training program, it's better to start off with resistance training before your cardio. So when you do resistance training, you're basically challenging your muscles to push more weight. You already know what weight you can manage. Now you can manage a little bit more to make your muscles grow. Your mitochondria is going to start reproducing. You're going to have more of the cells, which what? Metabolizes glucose. Metabolizes your carbs, metabolizes all, and that's how we produce energy. Now, have you ever done a workout where it's so hard that the next day you're in pain? You're like, oh my God, I'm sore. Now, to alleviate that, along with your resistance training, you want to do your cardio or walk right after resistance training, because the lactate that was produced in your muscles is actually going to be alleviated and recycled in your spleen and going to produce glucose. So to actually help your recovery sooner, you want to do strength training first, right? Para recuperarnos mejor, es mejor hacer pesas primero para mantener el músculo, y de ahí una caminada, una corrida para ayudar a estos ácidos lácticos que sale de los músculos, so that way you are not so sore the next day. Therefore, you're strengthening, you're using your own system to help you recover. You understand? And within half an hour to 45 minutes, you add those nutrients. Remember, muscle needs what's made of what? Protein. We need protein. Complex carbs. Now, if you already know this, that trickles down to your mind, your neurotransmitters, your focus, your clarity, right? Because to be successful in anything you do, you first got to take care of you. You are the powerhouse. When I talk about my business is Time to Thrive Powerhouse. The reason I called it Time to Thrive Powerhouse, because I am well aware that a lot of people are barely surviving in this world. Surviving. It could be financially, it could be health-wise, it could be relational, surviving. Not really enjoying into a full, vivacious life. And it's a lot of times because we are not setting the environment within ourselves to be successful or to live the best life that we can live. I hope those tips helped you out, right? I hope you can move forward because you're all very young, or wherever we're at in life, donde quiera que estemos en la vida, it's important to be resourceful. Do you understand that? That means that you get the knowledge that you need to make the choices that you need to make for yourself to create your life by design. Not to just let life throw you each whichever way. Because a lot of people are where they are and are like looking, how did I get here? Because we're unaware of the decisions that we have made. We are where we are because of the decisions we've made thus far. And if we want to go to a different location, then we need to recognize, become aware, and then have a plan, an action plan to actually go where we want to go. And if that's in your health, if that's in your strength, that's wherever that is, whatever you value, then you got everything you need to make it happen. So with that in mind, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I appreciate each one of you. Thank you, Brookdale, for having me here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. We're going to talk about finances, right? And entrepreneurship on the following workshops. With that in mind, have a good night. Bye. Okay.